This is the review of the 2016 Kia Optima all dressed. I hope you'll find this review interesting and useful. Here we look at the car. It's been slightly redesigned on the outside. Looks kind of good if you ask me. 18-inch wheels with 235 tires, seems the right size. Cute red calipers, makes it look even more sporty. This car has always had a lot of class if you ask me. It had always had a nice mature look, and 2016 makes it even more so. Of all the changes they made, I find the most important one was the change in suspension for the SX and the SXL model. They put a sport tuned suspension a little bit, and you really feel it on the road. It doesn't compromise comfort that much, but it really makes the car feel more lively, and it really needed that. Trunk space is quite big. It doesn't open by itself. You have a split down 60/40, which is rather convenient. Rear doors are pretty nice, but maybe they're a bit below average for this price of vehicle. You can see there's a sunscreen for the rear passengers. Rear sitting room is actually ginormous, except for the head. It's a little bit tight for if you're over 6 feet. However, the leg room is actually kind of crazy. Rear ventilation and mobile device charging, which is kind of awesome. This car is a pig at 3,600 pounds, though you do get a pretty nice Harman Kardon 630 watt sound system, which is kind of nice. This car is pretty roomy and comfy in the front. This car does come in 6 trims with 3 engine choices, and there is a 7 airbag system that will explode in your face if ever you get into an accident. This car, despite being quite big, maneuvering in tight parking is easy with the 360 camera and also the very tight steering. It really turns really sharp. I could best describe this interior of being average looking with above average tactile feel. The steering wheel is wonderful. The Nappa leather is, although the cheapest Nappa leather I've ever felt, is a very good quality, and there's heated steering wheel. Cooled seats also. The engine I'm driving today is the 2-liter turbo with 245 horsepower, 260 torque. It does 11 in the city, 7.5 in the highway, and it feels as if it has 210 horsepower, a famous Kia problem with their engines. They feel underpowered. Here it is on the road. Despite all this, it's a very competent car. All right, hello car lovers. Driving the 2016 Kia Optima, all dressed, all equipped, end of the world. In Canada, this one is 38,000 Canadian plus the regular stuff, shipping and taxes, which is a lot. You're paying a lot, but you're getting a lot. This model's been refreshed, although you can't really tell from the exterior. They've worked on the driving dynamics. I've already driven one of these. It was rather soft before. The driving dynamics are pretty good. I'm going to show this off right now. I'm going to wait my turn and we're going to jet out of here. Hold on, let's rock right now. That was the 0 to 100. So we got stuff in the car. I can't show you now how well this car handles. It handles surprisingly good. I mean, that's what was missing from this car. I'm not expecting a sports car when I get into a midsize sedan, but I'd like, you know, it can't behave like a boat. I mean, we're not boat people. It has to be a little bit spirited. And this car handles, at least the limits are reasonably high. Steering wheel is okay. I'm not steering, but steering feel is okay. It's not the best, it's not the worst. I would have to say it's a little bit above the middle. The steering wheel itself is soft, wonderful to hold. It's got little angles. It's not quite a circle. It's a bit flat bottom. On the sides of the flat bottom, it's straight, it's not curved out. It's got nice grips at the 10 and 2. There's nice rest for your thumbs at 9 and 3. The driving experience is undeniably better than what it once was. It's relatively quiet in here. I'm doing 100 and 100, let's say 100, and it's very quiet in here. A little bit of road noise, but that's normal for midsize. They're not perfectly Mercedes quiet. There's a little bit of noise. But I mean, I'm talking with Ross here before and we can hear ourselves talk. It's not annoying. You can easily take a long trip on this thing. This thing does come with all equipped. As usual, Kia packs the options. Heated, cooled seats. Cooled seats, however, it's the familiar thing with the cooled seats. I don't know why. In the Sorento, it cooled my back pretty good. Here, it seems to be only cooling my ass. I'd like my lower back to be cooled a little bit better. So this car is in a category which is really experiencing thermonuclear war in terms of competition, because not only does it have to compete against the competitors, it has to compete against the new small SUV class. It's crazy. So these cars have got to get exponentially better every refresh. Did Kia do enough on this refresh? I'd say yes. It's not perfect, but it's very good. We'll start with the exterior styling. I thought that was always a Kia Optima strong point. The tradition continues. The rear view, if you ask me, looks like almost like an Audi. I don't know why when I see one pass by, I'm thinking about Audi. I don't know why. It doesn't look exactly like that, but that's the first word that pops in my head. It has kind of a coupe-ish stance, which is kind of nice. However, there's so much room in here. These guys are really good at packaging. I'm sitting in front, lots of room, not rubbing elbows or shoulders with Ross. In the back seat, it's incredible how much legroom you have. Headroom is a little bit more limited because it's of like its design, but still pretty darn good. I have the impression I could drive for 5 hours in these seats and I would never hurt my back. Ross made the remark that it seems that cars, although not getting bigger on the outside, seem to be getting bigger and bigger in the inside, and he's right. They're getting more clever about the way they design things. Like, for example, here, there's so much room here. There's so much room. Driving around the city, nice and quiet, soaks up bumps well. Turning radius is very short. We just hit a parking lot in a mall, and my goodness, we parked so easy. The 360 view, rear view camera makes getting out of parking spots easy. The sound system, this one comes with the Harman Kardon. I think it's the Harman Kardon sound system. It's a good sound system. It has rich bass. It's quality. I would have to class it as audiophile, though I would say that I've heard one or two of its competitors have perhaps a slightly better sound, a more quality sound, but not more quantity. Certainly better than the Honda Accord, which has zero quality. Lots of quantity, but zero quality. It's good. They went over the top a little bit with the seats. They made it quilted. I think that if a manufacturer has a choice between making quilted seats and maybe upgrading the leather, they should upgrade the leather instead. Okay, the quilted is nice, but I mean, it's not the end of the world. These doors feel slightly cheap compared to its $38,000 car competitors. I don't like this there's like this stitching here on the dash. I'm not crazy. Like, the material is good, but there's, you know, when you do stitching on a dash or in a rubber material, you should have a contrast stitch, or else it just looks tacky. All right, you can't tell the difference if they're fake stitches or not. It doesn't work for me. The dials here, the gauges have nice font, stare at you in the face. There's a little info screen in the middle that has a nice resolution. Same thing here with the infotainment in the center console. Nice resolution, screen's a decent size. I have it now on the navigation and it's working fine. What else is there? Well, there's nice quality. Ross made the remark that the buttons feel extremely high quality on, like, for example, FM, media, seek, track. And he's right, they are. That's a good remark. They're excellent quality. The dials here are also nice quality. When you rest your hand on the transmission shift, it's got a nice flat top to rest your hand on. It works, right? My elbows on the left side rest, my other elbows on the left, on the center console, and my hand falls on the transmission. I'm well seated. It's a good experience being in here. Somebody thought about all this. So what doesn't work about the car? What makes it, why isn't it perfect? Well, there's not many things really. I would have to say that perhaps the design language is a bit too, inside is good but not great. All right, let's just put it like that. The engine, it is turbocharged. It does take regular gas, but I mean, it drinks like Honda's V6, which takes regular gas, and that engine is a much better engine, period. And I can't think of much else wrong with it. This is a great car. I think it fulfills its mission well. But it's funny, we were playing the game before, Ross and I. Would you take this or an Acura TLX? Or would you take this or a Honda Accord? Or would you take this and some other car? This car, although it finishes a close second often when we play that game. I don't know why. I don't know if it's the engine. I've always felt like the Kia engines are not, I don't know, they say 240 horsepower, but Kia engines usually feel 10% less powerful. The look is nice. It is conservative. It's great looking. Is it as good looking as the new Fusion? Is it as good looking as the Hyundai Sonata? Is it as good looking as, I can't think of any others right now, the Mazda 6? It's hard to make that argument. It's good. It looks classy. 38,000, Ross makes the argument. 38,000 is a little bit for this car, although I have to say it is packed with options. I can recommend this car easily, no problem. It's a great car. I think it has the disadvantage of being in a category that is red hot competitive wise, and boy, you really got to shop and try all of them. It's hard for me to stand here and say one is definitively better than the other. Is this one the best? No. Is it very good? Is it well thought out? Yes. That's the review.